So Alen Babic stopped Steve Robinson in the 6th round on the undercard of Wardley Clark. Let's talk about it. I was quite surprised to learn before the fight that a lot of people were picking Steve Robinson to win. I'm not sure if they'd ever actually seen him fight before, but I found that very odd because despite the fact that he is very tough and he's got a big heart, he has absolutely no boxing ability whatsoever. The guy can't box to save his life. He couldn't box eggs, and he's not a particularly devastating puncher. He literally makes Babic look like Sugar Ray Leonard in terms of skill and technique. So this was always Alen Babic's fight, although I thought it might go the distance because I have seen Steve Robinson several times before, and so I knew he could take a shot and he had a big heart. And he certainly showed both of those in this fight. He refused to quit and he refused to go down, and he actually complained when the referee did finally step in and stop it. But of course, not only was the referee right to intervene, he should have actually done it several rounds earlier because this was a one-sided drubbing. This was not a competitive fight. Now, this was the first time Babic had fought since being knocked out by Rosansky in one round roughly a year ago. He's with a new trainer in Pascal Collins, and I did see some little improvements there from Babic as far as technique. There was still a few of those wide swings, but he was throwing a lot more short, compact hooks and uppercuts than we're used to seeing from him. And in between rounds, his trainer kept reminding him to do that, to keep the shots short and compact, and don't throw haymakers. He hit Steve Robinson with everything but the kitchen sink. There was very little coming back, and what was coming back wasn't very powerful. In fact, Alen Babic said something which was quite alarming after the fight. He said that with this performance, he proved to himself that he can still take a shot. And he said this proves that his mind wasn't right against Rosansky because he wasn't able to take his power. But the reality is, Steve Robinson never hit Alen Babic with even a tenth of the power that Rosansky was hitting him with. Robinson only connected with a few arm punches. There was literally nothing on him. So for Babic to draw confidence about his punch resistance from that is delusional. And as for Steve Robinson, there are lots of journeymen in boxing who lose all the time, and we don't really express much sympathy for them. But the difference between most journeymen and Steve Robinson is that most journeymen either have the ability to defend themselves so they don't take too many real clean shots, and or they're not looking to go out on their shield. Most journeymen who can't really take a shot and can't really defend themselves go down and stay down the first time they get hit with anything big. And that helps to preserve their health and gives them a certain amount of longevity as circuit journeymen. But Steve Robinson tries to win every fight he's in. He's got a good chin and a big heart, but absolutely no boxing ability whatsoever. No defense at all. And as I said earlier on, not a particularly big puncher himself. That is a recipe for absolute disaster when it comes to health. I think the British board need to take a very close look at this guy. They took Danny Williams' license off him many years ago. They might want to consider the same with Steve Robinson before something really bad happens. Now, for Alen Babic moving forward, he hasn't seemed too keen on running it back with Rosansky, and I can't blame him because he got blitzed in one round, and he was actually expecting to do a similar job on Rosansky, so it really turned his perception of himself upside down. He said he's really struggled to overcome the demons from that fight, so perhaps we won't see him at Bridgerweight again anytime soon. Will we see him down at Cruiserweight, or is he just going to stay up at Heavyweight moving forward? In any event, I'm glad Babic is back. I find him to be a fun fighter. If he's matched appropriately, then he'll be an entertaining addition to most boxing cards. You don't need to be a world-class fighter to provide good entertainment. I mean, look at David Price, for example. He gave us lots of thrills and spills. So that's my take on Babic versus Steve Robinson and the future for both guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below.